Please identify yourself.
No, Brown Act provides that people don't have to identify themselves.
Or not, as you please.
That's correct. The Brown Act says that anybody that comes up to speak does not have to identify themselves, just so you know that. So Mr. Affeld is incorrect when or I should say he misspoke when he asked me to identify myself. So I was at the last, I'm a parent of a child in the district. At the last meeting, I was pretty astounded to hear Mr. Affeld, the board president, say essentially that there's no reason for the public to bother coming or to make comments because their minds have been made up, or his mind at least, with respect to the issue that we were talking about at the last meeting, which was the closing of Anna Yates Elementary School. Mr. Affeld told everybody before the presentation was made that, quote, that bell has already been rung. So there's really no reason for parents to speak, only insofar that the Constitution or the Brown Act provides that we are allowed to speak. So Mr. Affeld will allow us to speak, but he's not going to listen to us. That's what he told us at the last meeting. And to the extent that the board members, with the exception of Member Pats, agree with him, I will say this, Mr. Affeld, at least, I respect your honesty here. You're not listening to the parents and you don't care what we have to say. Your minds have already been made up. But I do think you should tell us ahead of time which bells have already been rung. Like, I think what you should do is at the beginning of each meeting, like go through, like item G1, that bell's been rung, you can announce if you've already made up your mind. So we know, don't have to waste our time. Just G2, that bell's already been rung. G2, you could say that bell's already been rung. So then we all know not to, then we just leave and go back and take care of our children. If there's a bell that hasn't been rung, maybe you could tell that at the beginning of the meeting, and then people that want to speak on that item could, I guess, wait through the whole meeting. Or we could ask you if you could move that item up, but you would say no to that because last meeting you said no to a whole room full of parents who wanted to have an agenda item moved up. So you could continue with that sort of hubris, I suppose, and arrogance. But I do think you should, as a courtesy to the people that come here to the school board meetings, when the bell has already been rung and you've already made up your mind, I think you should tell us. I mean, it's just so we don't have to waste our time. That's a request. Could you please do that in the future? Unfortunately, I have to take care of my child tonight, so I can't wait for item G2, and I'd like to speak to that tonight. And I don't know if the bell's been rung on that or not. I presume it has. But kudos to the school district for at least changing the definition of when they lay off people. They used to call it PKS, particular kinds of staff reductions, PKS reductions. Now they're calling it classified reduction or continuance of services. So kudos to that. I mean, at least so it's less obfuscation, and so in that regard, I praise you for that. They got rid of the PKS reduction, so good on you for that. But
your time's up, Mr. Donahue.
Thank you.
And you're speaking on an item that comes later in the night. So if you could wrap up your comments, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, well, I can't speak on that item later because I have to leave. And I don't know if the bell's been rung on that as well. You didn't tell me. But I do want to say that, we can't cut our way to excellence here at the district, even though Mr. Rubio has sort of intimated that's the direction we're going to go. We're cutting our way to excellence. I say, no, you can't do that. Excellence costs money. Good things cost money in the world. And bad things, cheap things, well, they're less expensive. And so what we need to do is increase enrollment to increase revenue. We got to stop trying to cut our way to excellence. Doesn't work. So I have to leave, but maybe later I can find out if the bell has already been rung on that subject as characterized by Mr. Affeld. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Don't waste your time with